Hi, Janelle. I was very interested in your research. I found that in past courses, while researching my own information on Native American populations, there was some information that is lacking still. Um, my papers focus on homelessness and alcoholism within the Native American communities, as well as the educational that the beginnings of the education of Native American children in the United States, since it wasn't equal for everyone. Um, and I was a teacher in the past, so that's where the children and their education came up. But I never researched anything about child abuse and neglect. I want to work with children that have experienced trauma in the future, in this profession. Um, and your research is helping opening my eyes to how the research is conducted. I am familiar with the childhood trauma questionnaire, and I was wondering, how do you feel about um, mental health professionals meeting with leaders of Native American communities and creating specific childhood trauma questionnaires that focus on their communities? Um, Diversity in assessment, even when I was teaching, was never an area that I focused on. I just thought, this is a questionnaire that was created, so it must be great. I never thought about diversity within the creation of these assessments. So, that alone, now I'm going back and looking at all my old assessments and seeing if, even as a teacher, if my assessments had any bias and were equal to everyone. So this is really something that I'm fascinated with right now. Um, Something that I noticed when I was conducting the research for this topic was the lack of conversation about child abuse and neglect, and that it isn't something that was heavily researched for, many, many years. Um, I feel that these assessments were created by Caucasians, and the creators were Caucasians, and focused their information on their findings within the community that they were surrounded by. Um, I tried to look for actually the oldest article I could find that would tell me when this type of research began. One of the oldest ones that I found was an article from 1985, which is only 36 years ago, that stated anything about child abuse and neglect, and um, that is something that was recent findings within the Native American, and the rates were comparable to other American population groups. I was glad to find organizations now that focus on children in the Native American communities, like the National Indian Child Welfare Association. So it seems like there is more focus now on um, children and the child abuse and neglect area. Um, I think that, there's still so much work that needs to be done, and that there should be a revision of many of the questionnaires and assessments in general, to focus on diversity amongst, every individual, including the Native American population. Overall, I really enjoyed your research topic. I wish you all the best, and thank you.